You guys have been asking for it, man. And finally, I have delivered. Courtesy of ProWrestlingTees.com, you can now own the official WWE Off The Script t-shirt. And to get yours today, all you got to do is simply go to www.ProWrestlingTees.com/offthescript, and you now can represent the #1 fucking source for all WWE right here on YouTube.com. www.ProWrestlingTees.com/WWE Off The Script. And remember, hashtag fuck those other guys, man. What is going on, guys? JD from New York here, and this is WWE Off The Script episode number 72, part number 2 for your 4th of July Saturday, man. 4th of July. Thank you so much for spending your Independence Day with me this morning or afternoon right here on Off The Script. If you guys are doing anything today, man, with fireworks, barbecuing, drinking, partying, be careful, be safe out there. And I'm not going to be able to celebrate 4th of July with you guys like I want to because I'll be at work all day. Fuck me. But if you are partying and drinking and barbecuing, like I said, be safe and please have a hamburger and a cold beverage for me, man, because I'm not going to be able to enjoy it. But this is number 72, part number 2, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. This is the #1 fucking source right here on YouTube.com for all WWE. Don't forget that, man. We do what we do better than anybody right here on Off The Script. If you're new, please hit that subscribe button, man. Just like Macho Man. Macho Man, Randy Savage, and fucking massive elbow drop that subscribe button. And if you're not following me on Twitter, at JD from NY206. Let's get into the news, guys. I got a few pieces of information for you on this part 2. Big announcement on Friday afternoon. As it was announced, WWE would air the first NXT Takeover special outside of Full Sail University this coming August. It will be just prior to Summerslam weekend on the biggest stage they have ever competed on, man. NXT Takeover Brooklyn will air live from the Barclays Center Saturday, August 22nd, the night prior to SummerSlam 2015. The company announced the event in a press release this August. For the first time ever, NXT Takeover will emanate live from Brooklyn, New York during SummerSlam 2015 week. The superstars and divas of tomorrow have set the wrestling world on fire with the NXT Takeover live specials on the WWE Network, which all have emanated from Full Sail University in Florida until now. As announced by WWE COO Triple H on Saturday, August 22nd, NXT will invade the Barclays Center on the eve of the biggest party that WWE throws every summer, man, for the 7th annual NXT Live Special. Brooklyn is the place to be this summer with the 28th annual SummerSlam taking place on that Sunday, man. Tickets for this huge event will go on sale Saturday, July 18th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Ticketmaster.com. Gonna be fucking great, man. I'm gonna try my very best to get tickets to this event. I had a few of you already ask me, JD, are you going to NXT or are you going to SummerSlam? I don't know what's going on with SummerSlam, guys, but I know this event is going to sell out in record time because NXT is fucking amazing. I'm hearing it live, man. The people in Philadelphia at the ECW Arena were fucking bragging about it. It was fucking great. Obviously, you see the NXT TakeOver specials live on the network. When they do happen, the crowds are fucking unlike anything you've ever seen on WWE television, man. It reminds me of an old school ECW crowd. But I'm definitely going to try and get some tickets to this. Can you imagine me doing some live coverage, some live reviews directly from the Barclays Center for you guys right here on YouTube, man, being there at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Now, Justin LaBar is actually going to be in Brooklyn for SummerSlam, and I do believe he will be there for NXT as well. I'm going to try and see if I can hook up with him and see if I can do something with him that weekend. So keep your fingers crossed for me on that. I know he already told me he will be in town, but I got to see what's going on, man. But NXT, it's going to be fucking exciting. If you can't be there, obviously you're going to be watching it on the network, man. I'm sure it's going to be absolutely phenomenal live from the Barclays Center on August 22nd. All right, now, moving on. That's a big announcement, but this is another big announcement here. Vince McMahon, you know when things do not go right for the WWE, changes are usually made. And we all know Monday Night Raw has been fucking awful for the better part of 2015. There has been some speculation on if Vince McMahon will make changes to WWE programming after poor ratings have come in seemingly week after week. As previously reported, the June 29th edition of Monday Night Raw was the lowest rated and viewed show of 2015 for WWE and didn't have any direct sports competition on television during that time slot. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter wonders what this might mean for WWE creative and programming as a whole, as Vince McMahon is known for reacting to numbers like this in different ways. He writes, and I quote from Dave Meltzer, Raw on 6/29/2015 fell to an 18-year seasonal low, dating back to the period when Nitro was handing Raw a beating, doing a 2.51 rating and 3.46 million viewers. The previous non-holiday low outside of football season was set on May 4th, and that was a 2.55 rating with 3.57 million viewers. Aside from holiday shows that fell on July 4th, Christmas, and New Year's Eve, it was the least watched edition of Monday Night Raw since 1997, except for a December 3rd, 2012 episode against a New York Giants versus Washington Redskins game that did monster ratings. Raw did a 2.52 that night with 3.43 million viewers. The October 22nd edition of Monday Night Raw in 2012 against the NFL did a 2.4 with 3.5 million viewers, which would only be lower since the Monday Night Wars, except for a holiday show. What makes this number so bad is that there was no direct sports competition for WWE, with the biggest sporting event being a routine basketball game that did 669,000 viewers on ESPN. So there was no reason for this number other than a lack of interest in the product. The show had no Brock Lesnar, Stephanie McMahon, or Triple H, but nobody would have known that ahead of time. And the first hour of the show was an absolute low point, so it was that people weren't there from the start. It wasn't that they found out key people weren't there and tuned out early. Raw was still the highest rated show for cable that night, which is not saying a lot. With the lack of excuses for this number and a pattern of mostly low numbers, with the exception of shows the day following a pay-per-view, since mid-April, I expect a reaction from Vince McMahon. 3 hours is too long, but it has been 3 hours for years. Taking the focus off John Cena as the top guy and putting more on Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose may be growing pains that are necessary for the future. But a big part of the issue is that they've made a decision to use Cena in a different way, rarely going on last. And they haven't been able to come close to creating another John Cena, while the biggest star in the company right now, Brock Lesnar, is a part-timer. There is no excuse for Monday Night Raw to be this bad. Monday Night Raw was awful, and you guys can trust my opinion on the WWE product. I will always shoot it to you straight. I will never sugarcoat anything when it comes to WWE. If it's good, if I see something that I like, I say it. If I see something that fucking blows, I'm going to call it out, and I'm going to voice my opinion on it. That's what I do here, okay? I used to do Monday Night Raw reviews every week religiously. That stopped. It went from every week to maybe every other good week, and then it just stopped completely. I will not sit here and bash the product anymore. You guys know it's trash. If you follow me on Twitter, which you guys should be already, you will see my displeasure and frustration with the product, okay? It's fucking awful. Absolutely awful. To the point where I'm falling asleep at 10:30. I'd rather be on PS4 playing with my guys. I'd rather be fucking cooking dinner at a late hour after a long shit day at work and not even care about Monday Night Raw, man. Monday Night Raw is so fucking bad that nobody gives a shit about the current product. And it's WWE creative and the lack of fucking compelling storylines, a lack of just characters that we should be investing our time in, man. There's only 2 or 3 guys on the roster right now that we could sincerely say, listen, I care about this guy. Nobody gives a fuck about the remainder of the roster because they're not utilizing them to the best of their fucking talents and abilities. Monday Night Raw is trash. This entire year filled with Monday Night Raw, I can barely pick out anything good about Monday Night Raw. The best Monday Night Raw happened the night after WrestleMania. Simple. That's when Brock Lesnar was Brock Lesnar and fucking tore the house down, and he was just a legit beast, fucking destroying everything by ringside, and then they escorted him out and suspended him, then he came back. Even when Brock Lesnar was there and they brought him back, they couldn't even do that right. You got SummerSlam weeks away. You need to start building compelling storylines. You need to start getting us invested in the product. This is why people say NXT is where it's at when it's WWE, man. WWE can't even compete with its own product down in Full Sail University, man. How shitty is that when you got fucking NXT? People rather watch NXT any day of the week over who you got on the main roster right now. That's I mean, it's not bad to say that because to each his own, but in retrospect, it's bad. You're paying these guys all this type of money, and you can't give us the proper product, you know, on USA Network week in and week out. Monday Night Raw should be easy to book, man. It should be a breeze. I don't understand how difficult it is. You got all the talent in the world. You got all the resources to book a great Monday Night Raw, and nothing is being done about it, man. You see it come through your television, how lazy it is, that nobody in the back fucking cares. I can imagine what the talent is going through. I don't even want to know what the talent is going through, but all I know is Vince needs to step in and say, you know what? I'm done with this shit, man. We need to start putting fucking quality television on each and every week. It's all about money. 3-hour Monday Night Raw. We all know it's too long. They know it's too long, but they'd rather have the money in their pocket with the extra advertisement, man. It's fucking terrible for the product. 3 hours is way too long, and everyone's been saying this, man. 2 hours is enough for Monday Night Raw. Not everybody needs to be on TV. If you were utilizing the talent the way they should be utilized, 3 hours would be fine. I don't want to see R-Truth and Wade Barrett, man. What does that have to do with anything on TV? Why should I be invested in those characters when you've done nothing with them all this time? Wade Barrett, King of the Ring, you fucking bring him right back down. R-Truth, you put him in an IC title match 1 week and then he's a jobber the next. Why should I care, man? You don't give me any reason to believe that these guys are guys that I should be watching. Kevin Owens, Cesaro, Adrian Neville, those are the guys I want to see week in and week out, man. Daniel Bryan's not there. Seth Rollins was at the highest point in his career. Now nobody gives a shit about him, man, because you made him a chicken shit heel. You know? You're not booking the show the way it needs to be booked. Even Brock Lesnar, when he came back, man, I sat there and I watched and I'm like, that's all? Lesnar's back. Great. After a great way to escort him out and then bring him back, you bring him back to such a lackluster response. John Cena and Kevin Owens have carried Monday Night Raw. Those are the one segment. That's the one segment each and every week that I can count on to be great. And then he had a great match with Cesaro, man, which is probably the match of the year for Monday Night Raw. I just don't get how difficult it is. The way you're booking the United States Championship, man, it should be that easy to book the rest of the show. I don't understand it, man, but things need to be done. Things need to be done. Vince needs to come in and put his foot down. I don't understand what's going on. I don't know who's in charge or how things are getting so bad for Monday Night Raw, but things certainly need to be done, man. There needs to be a direct focus on tag team wrestling, on women's wrestling, on the main storylines. I don't even think WWE knows what they're going to be doing for SummerSlam, man. So why should I even fucking care? It's pointless. It's all fucking pointless. WWE has done nothing to make me believe I should invest my time in what I see on TV, man. Until they do that, I'm not gonna have anything to say, anything good to say, I should say, about the product. So that's my view on Monday Night Raw. You guys know where I stand. If you enjoyed it, hit that thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching on this 4th of July. Remember, be safe. Have a fucking cold beverage for me, and I'll see you guys back on part 3 for Off the Script. I got news on CM Punk and Dana White. What is Dana White saying about CM Punk, and when should we see CM Punk live on pay-per-view for his UFC debut, man? Find out on part 3 of Off the Script. Until then, take care. This is JD, and I'll talk to you all very soon.